They call it the Platinum Triangle, but for the families on this list, Beverly Hills is simply another neighborhood in a global portfolio. While Hollywood's billionaires fight for a view of the Pacific Ocean, the true power players from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are buying something else entirely: privacy on a scale that Americans can barely comprehend. We are talking about sovereign compounds with their own zip codes, diplomatic security protocols, and histories that directly connect the oil fields of Dhahran to the hills of Hollywood. We begin our descent into this world of opaque wealth with a story that proves even royal money has its limits when it crashes into the reality of the American legal system. The saga of Prince Faisal bin Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and his ex-wife Princess Fahda Al Thal represents the entangled nature of Saudi elite wealth in Los Angeles. Prince Faisal is a son of the late King Abdullah, one of the most powerful modern monarchs in Saudi history. His wealth is derived from the core of the royal stipend system and vast business interests, including the Saudi Red Crescent Society. However, the Athol family name brings its own weight, deeply entrenched in the kingdom's medical and construction sectors. In October 2011, the couple purchased a massive estate at 76 Beverly Park Lane, located inside the most exclusive gated community in Los Angeles, for roughly $16.88 million. Beverly Park is where you go when you are too famous for Beverly Hills. Music. It is a fortress of wealth, a gated community within a gated community, home to titans like Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. The Athol compound was an architectural triumph, an 18-bedroom Tuscan-style manor spanning over 27,000 square feet of living space on a 2.3-acre promontory. It was designed to be a multi-generational sanctuary featuring ballrooms, staff quarters for a dozen employees, and manicured gardens reminiscent of European palaces. But the flex here turned into a public nightmare. Following a bitter divorce initiated around 2016, the property became a casualty of war. Court documents from the subsequent lawsuits painted a shocking picture of neglect. Reports surfaced of stained carpets, empty algae-filled pools, and dead landscaping that had turned brown under the California sun. The prince and princess fought viciously over who would pay to remediate the filthy mansion so it could be liquidated. It was a stark reminder that even palaces can crumble if the dynasty within them fractures. The estate was eventually listed for around $20 million, but the story remains a cautionary tale in real estate circles. Usually these homes are impeccable, staffed by armies of cleaners. The Al Athol saga peeled back the curtain to show the machinery beneath the luxury, music, and what happens when the checks stop clearing. Number 9. The Al Ibrahim family, Sheikh Wid Al Ibrahim. Moving from royal infighting to media dominance, we arrive at the Al Ibrahim family. Sheikh Wid Al Ibrahim is the brother-in-law of the late King Fahd and the founder of NBC, Middle East Broadcasting Center, the largest media company in the Arab world. If you watch TV in the Middle East, you are watching Wed Al Ibrahim's empire. His wealth, estimated in the billions, comes from dominating the eyeballs of the Arab world. He launched Al Arabia News as a counterweight to Al Jazeera and brought massive entertainment formats like Arab Idol to the masses. But his connection to Los Angeles is deeper than just money. It is strategic. In the 1990s, Al Ibrahim didn't just visit Hollywood, he studied it. He acquired a massive compound in the Beverly Hills post office area to serve as his base of operations while he built relationships with U.S. studios. Unlike the flashy Instagram money of today, the Al Ibrahim estate was known for institutional power. It wasn't a party house, it was a boardroom. This property served as the bridge between Riyadh and Hollywood. Here, distribution deals were signed that brought American cinema to Saudi screens. The estate itself is designed for discretion. high hedges, multiple security checkpoints, and a layout that separates the public entertaining wings from the family's private quarters. However, the family's standing was shaken during the 2017 Ritz-Carlton purge, where prominent Saudis, including Wid Al-Brahim, were detained in Riyadh. While he was eventually released and returned to the helm of his company, the dynamic shifted. His Los Angeles footprint remains a symbol of the era when Saudi media moguls needed to be physically close to the Hollywood machine to learn its secrets. Today, the Al Ibrahim presence in Beverly Hills is quieter, a legacy asset of a man who reshaped the entire Arab media landscape. Number 8. The Al Jaber family. Mohammed bin Isa Al Jab. Mohammed bin Isa Al Jaber provides a contrast to the royals on this list. He is a self-made billionaire, a rarity in a stratosphere dominated by bloodlines. His company, MBI International, is a conglomerate spanning hospitality, construction, and oil services. Al Jaber is often cited as one of the richest Arabs in the world, with a fortune that music has historically been pegged around the $7 billion mark, though Forbes has disputed the liquidity of these assets in the past. Regardless of the exact number, his spending power is undeniable. He owns JJW Hotels and Resorts, which controls iconic properties across Europe, including the Grand Hotel Vene in Vienna. In Los Angeles, the Al Jaber strategy is global mobility. They don't just own a single house, they treat the entire luxury real estate market as a portfolio. Their presence in Beverly Hills is characterized by short-term but incredibly high-value leases and ownership of assets that are often held through complex trust to maintain anonymity. Unlike the royals who build compounds to stay in for decades, Al Jaber's real estate philosophy is about intellectual capital and flexibility. The family is heavily involved in philanthropy, funding chairs at universities, and their LA base is often used for these diplomatic and educational endeavors. Do not mistake philanthropy for weakness. However, Al Jaber is a shark in the boardroom. He has engaged in high-stakes litigation against massive oil giants and airlines to protect his interests. In Beverly Hills, the Al Jaber name represents the modern international Saudi businessman. He circulates between Vienna, London, and Los Angeles, never staying in one place long enough to be pinned down. His home is the first-ass cabin and the penthouse suite. The Beverly Hills address is just one key on a very large key chain. Music. Number 7. The O.J. Family. The late Mansour O.J. was the bridge between the Saudi elite and the high-octane world of Formula One. As a major shareholder in McLaren and the CEO of TAG Group, Techniques Devangard, his wealth was built on precision engineering and luxury branding. The Oja fortune originated with his father, Akram Oja, who was a middleman for arms deals between France and Saudi Arabia. Mansour pivoted this wealth into technology and sport, making TAG a household name in racing and aviation. Though Mansour passed away in 2021, the family's footprint in California remains legendary. While they operated socially in Beverly Hills, their crown jewel was El Rancho Tajiguas. This wasn't a Beverly Hills box. It was a 3,500-acre kingdom on the Gaviota Coast, just north of Los Angeles. Listed for $110 million, it is the ultimate satellite estate for a family that transcends a single zip code. The ranch includes 2 separate ocean-facing villas, hundreds of acres of avocado orchards, and a working cattle range. It is one of the most expensive listings in the history of the California coast. The main villa is a Mediterranean masterpiece featuring a helipad essential for a man who lived his life at 200 miles per hour. The O.J. family represents technocratic wealth. They didn't just extract oil. They invested in advanced aerodynamics and Swiss watches. Their California estate reflects this worldview. It is a working ranch, a productive asset, not just a show pony. It signals that true status is owning the land as far as the eye can see, ensuring that no neighbor can ever look over your fence. Number 6. The Hadid family, Muhammad Hadid. We must clarify a crucial distinction here. Muhammad Hadid is Jordanian American, not a Saudi royale. However, his inclusion on this list is mandatory because he is the interface. He is the architect and developer who translated Saudi reals into American drywall. You know the name because of his daughters Shiji and Bella, the supermodels who dominate the fashion world. But the money comes from Muhammad's history as the point man for the SAR Foundation in the 1980s, a foundation with deep roots in the Saudi Al-Raji family. Hadid used this massive backing to become a major real estate player, developing Ritz-Carlton hotels and massive office projects. Hadid is the architect of excess. He builds the palaces that the other people on this list buy. His own homes in Bear and Beverly Hills, like the $50 million L'Elvedere, are monuments to a specific Versailles meets Vegas aesthetic that defines the modern Saudi LA look. L'Elvedere featured a ballroom for 250 people, a Turkish hammam, and a swan pond. Hadid famously got into legal trouble for building the Starship Enterprise mansion, Stratavia, a 30,000-square-foot behemoth that the city ordered him to tear down because it was structurally unsafe for the neighbors below. This legal battle exposed the lengths to which developers will go to maximize square footage. Hadid's role is critical to understanding Beverly Hills. He is the man who sells the fantasy. He understands that for Middle Eastern buyers, you don't just sell a house. You sell a fortress of gold, leaf, and limestone. Number 5. The Alassi family. Muhammad Alassi. We have to go back in time to understand the original shock and awe of Saudi wealth in Beverly Hills. Enter Sheikh Mohammed Alassi. In 1978, he bought the Whittier Mansion at 9561 Sunset Boulevard and turned it into the most controversial home in American history. Alassi was part of the royal circle by marriage. His sister was married to Prince Turki bin Abdulaziz. This connection gave him access to the unlimited wealth of the 1970s oil boom. He didn't just spend money, he incinerated it. The Green Palace, as it came to be known, was painted a shade of lime green that allegedly glowed under the streetlights. But the paint was the least of the neighbors' worries. Alfasi filled the yard with classical Italian statues that he had painted in natural flesh tones, including the genitals and pubic hair. The neighbors, including old Hollywood royalty, were horrified. It caused a media firestorm. People drove by just to stare at the erotic statues and the copper roof. Alassi threw parties that lasted for days with reports of waitresses hired solely to peel grapes for guests. The house eventually burned down in mysterious circumstances on New Year's Day in the 1980s, but the Alfasi legacy is the ghost that haunts every Saudi buyer today. He taught the current generation what not to do. He proved that money can buy the house, but it cannot buy the neighborhood's respect. Today's Saudi buyers in Beverly Hills are discreet, largely because Alfasi was so loud. Number 4. The Prince Mishal bin Abdulaziz family. Prince Mishal was a titan. As the chairman of the Allegiance Council, he held the keys to the Saudi succession itself. But in the business world, he was known for something much more American, the McDonald's connection. Prince Mishal was the founder of the Al Shula Group, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Crucially, his company, the Riyadh International Catering Corporation, controls the McDonald's franchise for the central, eastern, and northern provinces of Saudi Arabia. Think about the volume of that business. Millions of meals every single day, generating a river of cash that flows directly into the family trust. The family's wealth is estimated in the billions. In Los Angeles, they have historically held assets through shell companies and complex trust to ensure total privacy. Unlike the Alfasis, you will never see a Prince Michel property on a Star Tours map. Their holdings are focused on capital preservation, parking money in stable U.S. real estate to ensure the family's survival for the next 100 years. Prince Michel was known for a love of falconry and traditional desert life, but his business empire was thoroughly modern. His family represents strategic diversification. They use the cash flow from fast food and real estate to insulate themselves from the volatility of the oil market. In Beverly Hills, they are the silent giants. They don't want the fame, they want the asset appreciation. Number 3. The Prince Turki bin Nasser family. We mentioned his Beverly Park estate earlier in the context of the Al-Athol divorce, but Prince Turki bin Nasser deserves his own spot because of the sheer scale of his former holdings and the controversial source of his funds. Prince Turki was a major figure in the Saudi military and environmental sectors. But in the West, he was infamously known for the Al Yamama arms deal, a massive defense contract between the UK, BAE Systems, and Saudi Arabia initiated in the 1980s. Allegations surfaced for years that this deal generated billions in off-the-books funds for key royals, allowing for a lifestyle of imperial excess. Music. At his peak, Prince Turki owned nearly 200 classic cars, a Boeing business jet, and the 200-foot yacht Sarah. His primary Los Angeles residence was at 77 Beverly Park Lane. This wasn't just a house.